I have just today finished The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones, so I wanted to come on briefly and give you my thoughts about it. This book follows Etsy Bokan, who is an academic at the University of Wyoming. She's contacted by the University of Montana because they have just uncovered a journal. This journal was written by Arthur Bokan, who was Etsy's ancestor and a Lutheran minister in the early 20th century. The journal details encounters that Arthur had with a Blackfeet Native American called Goodstab, who began attending the Sunday services. He confesses to Arthur over the course of a few weeks, maybe, stories from his past. Meanwhile, there is a spate of horrific murders in Miles City, where Arthur lives, and Arthur begins to suspect that Goodstab is responsible. This is a horror novel. There is a supernatural element here. I don't want to say what that element is. Lots of reviews have said what it is, and I knew what it was going into it, which was a shame. I think actually this is a really brilliant, interesting new take on a trope or a feature of horror that we have seen many, many times before, and I think the best thing to do would be to discover that for yourself independently of any reviews. So I'm not going to tell you what that is, just to tell you that there is a supernatural element. There's a lot of really brilliant body horror, some really horrific imagery in there that I really appreciated, and like all good horror, it is also very political. This is a story obviously about genocide, about colonialism, and about this Indigenous man confessing his own guilt around things that he has done, but also trying to inspire almost guilt in this white man who plays a part in this genocide. He feels very strongly that these people have no culture, these people are savages, these people need to be saved from themselves by the right people, i.e. the white people, and doesn't really feel comfortable with this man at all in his church. It's a really, really interesting book. It's dealing with very specific, very real historical events. I recommend it to anyone who likes horror that is engaging with real life, with history, and is saying something that is important. I think horror is probably the best genre for that, and I really recommend it from that perspective. I didn't love this book, though. I think that some of the writing isn't as strong as I've read before from Stephen Graham Jones. In my previous video, I said that The Only Good Indians is... I love that book. It's one of my favourite books of all time. I don't think that the writing here is as strong as it was there, but I think there is so much going on in this book, and there is so much to talk about, and I think it's probably, if you like books that you can sit down and discuss with someone, this is the book that you need to read, especially if you like horror. So that's The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. I actually also really recommend, once you've finished it, reading the acknowledgements at the end of the book. It's so fascinating to see how many different things inspired this book. Not only, obviously, the history of the Blackfeet Nation, but also he name drops Nabokov in the acknowledgements. He also name drops Candace from Phineas and Ferb. It's so fascinating to see his thought process in those acknowledgements, and to try and think about where those different elements are coming through in the book. Anyway, I enjoyed this book. I didn't love it. It took me quite a long time to read, actually. It took me 2 weeks to read this book, and usually I'm quite a fast reader. It wasn't always compelling me to go back to it, but when I was reading it, I was really interested, and I would recommend it if you like your horror political and creating new things, changing your perspective on certain things, trying to reinvent tropes or elements of the genre. If you like any of those things, I recommend this book. Those are my thoughts. Thank you for watching.